Welcome. Today we will dive in and try to tell in 5 minutes the fascinating history of Greece. Greece is the true cradle of civilization. Many fundamental ideas, from philosophy to science, were laid down here. So, let's go through the stages of development of Greek civilization. Starting from the deep past, when Greece could not yet be spoken of as a country, various ancient peoples lived on the territory of modern Greece, and the earliest traces of man were found here 360,000 years ago. Hundreds of thousands of years ago, both Neanderthals and Homo erectus lived here. About 20,000 years ago, Homo sapiens appeared here. And in the Paleolithic period, the famous Frankiti cave was inhabited. In this cave, in the eastern Peloponnese, they found traces of processing obsidian, a stone that was mined on the island of Melos, 100 kilometers by sea. Even then, the ancient inhabitants of Greece knew how to travel considerable distances by water. By 7000 BC, signs of a settled way of life were appearing here. People were growing nuts and grains and raising domestic animals. But this was only the rudiment of what would soon become the thriving Aegean civilization that flourished at the turn of the 3rd-2nd millennia BC. The most famous of the early civilizations was the Minoan civilization. On the island of Crete, a cultural stratum has been discovered at several sites, including Knossos, filled with artifacts and structures indicative of a high level of development, from aqueducts to the beginnings of writing. The legendary labyrinth of the Minotaur remains in the realm of myth, of course, but it symbolizes the power and cultural influence of the Minoan civilization. However, in the 17th century BC, there was a catastrophic event, a volcanic eruption on the island of Santorini, equal to 200,000 nuclear bombs. It did not destroy the Cretans completely, but weakened the civilization, which soon led to its assimilation by the Mycenaeans, inhabitants of mainland Greece, who were famous for their warlike nature and trade achievements. The Mycenaean civilization flourished from about the 16th century BC and left many traces: ruins of cities, burials, artifacts, and writing. The Mycenaeans paved trade routes eastward to Egypt and northward as far as the Caucasus. However, around 1100 BC, the civilization of Mycenae fell into decline. The reasons are still debated, but the main theory is that the Doric invasion destroyed almost all the cities of the region, and Greece fell into the so-called Dark Ages. By the 8th century BC, Greece began to revive and entered its Golden Age, when the foundations of modern democracy, philosophy, and science were laid. At this time, a unique system of polis, city-states such as Athens and Sparta, was formed. Athens became a cultural and intellectual center, and Sparta became a model of military might. The Greeks colonized the coastal areas of Asia Minor, Sicily, and southern Italy, which came to be known as Greater Greece. These city-states lived as disparate communities, but were always united in the face of external threats, such as wars with Persia. This era gave the world great philosophers: Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, and such symbols of Greek culture as the Olympic Games. Perhaps one of the most colorful episodes in Greek history is the era of Alexander the Great. In the 4th century BC, Alexander unified Greece and created the greatest empire, stretching from Egypt to India. Under his influence, the Hellenistic period began when Greek culture spread throughout the known world, as far as India. In 168 BC, Greece became part of the Roman Empire, but even after the conquest, Rome maintained respect for the culture of the Greeks, adopting many cultural elements and even gods from them. The rise of Christianity found special support in Greece, and after the fall of Rome, Greece became part of the Byzantine Empire, with Constantinople as its capital, and remained the guardian of the Orthodox tradition. From the 15th century, dark times began for Greece. It fell under the rule of the Ottoman Empire. Despite the plight, Greek culture continued to exist. Education remained at a high level, and merchants, most of whom were Greek, controlled a large part of the Ottoman economy. By the 19th century, enough strength and political support had accumulated in Europe to launch the War of Independence, which culminated in Greek victory in 1832. In the 20th century, Greece went through many trials. Both world wars, dictatorship, change from monarchy to republic. The Second World War left a deep mark. Greek troops put up serious resistance to the Italian and German invaders. And after the war, Greece became independent again and restored democracy. Today, Greece is one of the countries of the European Union, with one of the largest armies in Europe and a rich heritage left by its ancient ancestors. The culture, philosophy, science, and art of the ancient Greeks still shape our civilization and are one of the greatest achievements of mankind. What surprised you the most? Write in the comments. Don't forget to put a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss new fascinating stories about the ancient world. See you soon. Subscribe to learn more about the mysteries of the ancient world.